If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Hey, everyone. You're right. It is me again, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Radio Show, where tonight we are talking about, is rescue me your default? We will get deeply into this. We're going to poke you. I'm probably going to provoke you. I might even tick you off. But if that, I heard this great saying this morning, I think it was on Rhonda Byrne's radio show, if that actually occurs, there is something here for you and you need to stay tuned. Getting ticked off means there's something that's asking to change. So I'm going to challenge you to stay with this through to the end. If that works for you and if you'd really like to change something that's not working for you. So last week's radio show was, is the universe really listening? It was a dynamic show that really led to this one because so many of us are wondering if the universe is listening. And this is just kind of the next step to it. All about the rescuing me, who can rescue me, and so on. So that show, if you didn't catch that show, it was fantastic. I had a surprise pop-in from Rhonda Byrne, and we had a lot of fun dancing with what's really going on and how the universe listens and how we can actually communicate with the universe to create what it is that we desire. So if this is your first time connecting with me, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a coach. I've been called a lot of different types of coaches. I'm a business coach. I'm a personal coach. I'm a possibility coach. I'm an actualizer coach. I do all sorts of things. But here's what I love to do. I love to invite you into knowing that the possibilities that you dream about, that you think about, that you wish upon, I like to invite you into knowing that if it's in your vortex somewhere, if it's in your imagination somewhere, it is absolutely possible to make it come to fruition, to create it, to actually bring it forth. If you're thinking about it, it's possible, bottom line. And that's what I love to do. I love working with individuals, whether it's a personal issue with a relationship or it's maybe working with their kids. I work with a lot of people who are in a lot of drama or a trauma from past, or maybe even somebody who has had people around them die, most especially commit suicide. Unfortunately, that has been very intimate in my life, so I have a very up-close and personal look at suicide for the last 40 years, actually. It's been impacted in my life. So I have a lot of tools in that regard. As well, I work with business owners, and most especially, I love working with entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs have such a phenomenal surge in them of something that they received or something that they knew in their heart, in their gut, that, oh my gosh, this would be amazing, and they get very, very excited about it, and all of a sudden they drop off a cliff. They forget about that excitement, and they look at this daunting future of what they don't know how to do, and that's where I come in. That's where I come in to walk beside you, to support you, to teach you, and to guide you. And I do it with pleasure. I actually have a program called The Pleasure of Business. It's a 24-week program. You can purchase any one of the weeks. You can purchase the entire package, and you can learn all about business to support you going forward. Or if you would like me to do that for you, I actually have a program that you can purchase called Strategic Business Planning. And I go in and I take care of all the nuts and bolts so you can do what you do and have more joy with it and not worry about a lot of the setup, building that foundation in your business. So whether it's personal, whether it's business, I would love to talk to you. I give everyone a conversation for free. We sit down, we talk about what it is that you're looking for to see if it's a great match. and then we go from there and see what it is that would work best for you and for your life. So we can do that in person, or we can do this certainly over the internet. Thank God for the internet. So you can connect with me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. And I've got a few other things coming up over the next couple of months that I'll tell you about later in the show. So without further ado, let's jump into tonight's show. So is, quote unquote, rescue me your default? Why can't somebody just tell me what to do? Can't somebody else just handle this? Please rescue me. I can't do it alone. Rescue, victim, helpless, hopeless, survival, less than? How many times in your life have any or a combination of these personas have you been putting on? Is now the time for you to step up and leave the rescue behind? And in addition to that, are you ready to move beyond the lie that you need someone to rescue you? Are you ready to really empower yourself to create your life moment by moment by moment without needing someone to rescue you? You know, there's a difference between rescue and someone contributing to you. But the rescue me energy says, what's really, really behind that? It says, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I need somebody else to drive my bus. Well, my friend, if you're listening to this show, you'll know I've talked about some of these things many, many times. And if I've really popped for you, you know that you chose to come here. And you know that you chose to change the future with your contribution in it. So let's jump over to what the word rescue really means. Now, your definition of rescue could mean something different than the next person, okay? But I'm going to look at the rescue definition by the online etymology, and this is the original definition of the word rescue. So it's an old French, it stems from an old French word, rescuer, and it means to protect, keep safe, free, and deliver. So isn't that interesting? What really popped for me there is protect and keep safe. How many of us have bought into that we need protection? That we really need protection in our lives. And I'm not talking about physical protection from somebody who's trying to harm you. That's a completely different thing. I'm talking about the space of protecting you from screwing up your life, protecting you from making the wrong decision. How in the world can somebody really make a decision for you in your life when you are a different energy than any other being on the planet? You're the one that knows what lights you up and turns you on. You're the one that knows what doesn't feel good, what doesn't feel natural to you, what will actually not serve you in the future. Like, have you ever had somebody tell you, like, this is a perfect scenario, right? Our parents, right? I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Well, you know what, Susie? You should be a nurse. And, you know, your Aunt Betty was a nurse, and she did really, really well, and she had a good job, and she had a pension, and you know what? She didn't need a man. You should be a nurse. Wow. A few projections in that one, right? How many people out of that got, first of all, I need a pension because I can't possibly take care of myself financially. I need to be a nurse because of every other reason other than the fact that I love to work with people in that area, or the fact that having a man is something you shouldn't want to have, or you shouldn't expect from, or you should expect that they're going to, you know, basically knife you in the back. Sorry, I'm just having a little laugh with myself. But that goes on out there, right? We look to other people, and then they give you reason and justification why that choice is the right choice. So do you really need reason and justification for your choices? Think about that. Do you need reason and justification for your choices? When you are looking for the reasons and the justifications, are you trying to make it fit? Are you trying to make it work in your life? Are you pushing it forward so that you've made the quote-unquote right choice? And how many times, I know I've done it, how many times have we done that? And, not too long afterwards, it really started to niggle at us or even churn our stomachs or, God forsake, blow up, right? One of the very first things that I did as a young woman is I bought into the lie that I needed to get married, that I needed to have a man, that I was less than if I didn't. So I bought this, that getting married was actually going to rescue me from my misery, or even worse, rescue me from the expectation that being an old maid would be horrible. So I went out and I literally searched for a man, not somebody that lit me up, not somebody that brought me a ton of joy, not somebody that really I was in alignment with, but somebody that was available and good to go for the most part. And I really pushed that agenda to make that happen because I had bought the lie that that is what I needed to do by my society around me. And it wasn't even 2 years later, and that blew up. Now, out of it came a lot of lessons, learning about myself with relationships, and a beautiful son that I have that I'm proud to call part of my dynamic inner circle and family. So there's often gifts in some of these choices, but if you are getting rescued by somebody else's point of view, you've got to look at what it is that you really want and what it is that these choices you're making with somebody else's rescue opinions are creating in your life. Have they ever truly created joy and bliss, right? If you're looking to see the joy and the bliss that somebody else has and you say, oh, I want what they're having, I want the joy and the bliss that they're having, and then you follow the steps you follow in their path, the likelihood of you having the same amount of joy and bliss from their path is absolutely less than, because you're different. Now, there's many of us that enjoy lots of the same things, but your path is your path, and you need to be choosing what really works for you. So it's really digging down into yourself and finding out what it is that really does make you joyful, that brings you so much pleasure. So that's one of the ways that we look to have people rescue us, is by giving us their point of view. And their point of view is a judgment. Their point of view is, this is the right choice, this is the wrong choice. And so you're making a decision, you're making a choice based on judgment. I mean, that just makes me, it's giving me a pain in the neck, actually, right in these 10 seconds. So how many times have you made a choice based on someone else's opinions, which is really a judgment? Interesting. So we are going to go for our first break of the show. When we get back, I'm going to dive in a little bit more with what this Rescue Me is all about and the different areas in our life where we're putting the onus on someone or something else to rescue us. So you are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And thank you so much for listening in the archives. A lot of you listen through iTunes or Google Play, many different platforms out there, YouTube, that carry all of our shows, both my shows and all of the network shows. So you can find us in all sorts of places, all sorts of apps on the go. And when you're listening and you're getting something from a show, you know, it would be fabulous to hear from you. We, as the hosts, love to hear what really pings for other people, what really speaks to them. And in addition to that, when it does, it contributes to us moving forward with more shows. So if there's a show, if there's a topic that you would love to hear, please feel free to contact me, Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Okay, so tonight we're talking about Rescue Me. Have you ever felt like you just wanted somebody to make a decision for you? Oh boy, I've been there so many times. I felt really lost in trying to make the right choice in my life. As a young woman, as a young mother, as a business owner, really looking to have the right choice. And, you know, when we're looking for that right choice, I would bet that 9 times out of 10, we're looking outside of ourselves. We're looking outside of ourselves to see what it is that we can truly change and what it is that we can have that other people have. And the challenge to this is that when you're looking outside of yourself, you're missing the biggest piece in creating, in having what it is that you desire, and that is you. You are missing you when you're looking outside of yourself. So a lot of the times when you're doing that, you've not done some deep work within yourself. You've not done the work of discovering what it is that you desire. I meet so many clients that they tell me what they want, and you know, whether it's, you know, to grow their business or to have, you know, happier friendships, or, you know, to have their kids, you know, behave, whatever it is. And they're looking for some kind of fairy tale outcome, and they're missing checking in with themselves, really looking at what it is that they desire. Now, some of the reasons that they're not looking at it, and this was true for me, and I wonder how many of you have experienced the same thing, is that I didn't actually trust myself. I didn't trust that I knew what would bring me joy. I didn't trust that what was probably different from everybody around me could create the joy. I can tell you for absolute datum, I knew no one growing up, and up until I actually chose it, I knew no one that did a radio show, an online radio show. I had never known anyone to do that. And when I stepped onto the platform of doing an online radio, it freaked me out. There was some internal pull that was like, it was a hell yes from the second I heard it. But then I started to doubt it massively because I hadn't seen evidence of that creating joy. And it would have been so easy for me to pull away. It would have been so easy for me to run away. And how many of us, when we don't have an example, a leader in our life, even someone that we watch on TV, having done something, how many of us pull away and believe that that won't create the joy that we are looking for? So then we look to another idea to rescue us. How many ideas are you looking to rescue you forward into the joy and the life that you desire? Right? That's looking outside of ourselves. The looking outside of ourselves is the place where we get confused, is the place where we actually fall into the energy of victim of I don't know. I don't know. I can't even imagine how many times I've said I don't know in my life. And today, I have fabulous people around me, amazing coaches. Rhonda Burns is one of those people, my best friend, who kicks my ass and hugs me up through the whole process of really challenging me again and again when this old energy, it's just an old pattern. It's not a right or a wrong. It's just an old pattern that my brain has to bring me back into that. And it's looking, so what's actually occurring is when you are in panic, right? When you're panic of not knowing what to do, you're looking outside of yourself like, okay, like where can I go, right? And your brain, your reptilian brain, was created to protect you. Pardon me. Your reptilian brain was created to protect you. Now, what's the first thing in the definition of rescue? Is to protect. So how many of you have your brain rescuing you with the decisions, with the choices that are true for others that are not actually true for you in this time and this space? And if you had made a choice, even whether it's another lifetime, it's 20 years ago, it's 5 minutes ago, and that choice is no longer true for you, it no longer actually speaks to your deep desires, the things that bring you so much pleasure, the things that bring you so much joy that you don't give a damn what anybody else says, then you need to choose again. Because we are constantly changing. We are constantly evolving. I can remember one of my biggest things, and I wonder how many of you are like this. I can remember my biggest thing is like, oh my gosh, I just want to make this choice and then be done with it. Like lock it in. Okay, it's like this check. People used to laugh because I was a check mark queen. I would write a list of things down, and then when I've done it, I got so much joy out of checking it off the to-do box, checking it off the worry, checking it off the getting it done. Are you checking off things just to get them off the friggin' list so you don't have to look at it anymore? I'll tell you what occurs when you're doing that. You start to cut off your awareness to your joy. You start to cut off your awareness to what you can actually bring forth into this world. And what often begins to happen is you create really uncomfortable situations in your life. It can actually start to hit your finances because when you're not in joy, you're not very much fun to be around, and energetically you're not matching with prosperity when you're not in your joy. When you are doing this, you're pushing away the possibilities of what could actually come forth. And in doing that, you start to create ill health, whether it's in your joy or in your body. You start to become dis-ease, right? You're uncomfortable, you're dis-easy with the things that are happening around you. And as we continue to do that, because everything is energy, the energy of disappointment, the energy of sadness, and of frustration begins to impact the cells of our body. And then we start to create ill health in our body. It shows up in many different ways in our physical body. So this rescue me piece can either, I'm going to say, kill you or cure you. If you're willing to really look at it, and if you're willing to really be honest with yourself, you can start to create a new path with your brain and with your life if you get out of that space of, I need to be protected, I need somebody else to take care of me, I need to feel safe. All of that is a lie. You, my friend, are far more potent and far more capable of making choices that you know are the right path if you would begin to exercise that muscle of, what do I know is true for me? What do I know is true for me? When you're looking at any area of your life, whether it's your career, whether it's your business, whether it's a relationship, whether it's parenting your children. I know so many people that they've got their noses in books, not from the place of receiving some knowledge and seeing how it fits in their world, but that energy of desperation, of looking for the answers. And when you're looking for the answers from somebody else, you're trying to fit their world into your life. And that doesn't work. There's, it's so easy for us to look back over the last 40 years, 50 years, and look at parenting and how that has changed so significantly. And myself, I looked, of course, I parented from the aspect of watching my parents and my older siblings parent their children. And there were some things that were great. And then there were some things that blew up in my face. And then I started to look at professionals outside of myself. Not too much. It wasn't popular then. But I did look outside of myself, taking a parenting course. And the whole time I took that parenting course, I was so frigging uncomfortable. It was like, oh, my God, I'm going to blow this up. I'm going to blow this up by taking that parenting course. There was one book that I remember, I'm not sure if I still have it, but it did contribute to me in parenting. I didn't follow everything that they said, but it was about having a spirited child. And so I started to learn some tools. So learning tools and then looking how you can apply them and make them fit and work for you, that's a completely different story. That's not about rescue. That's about self-empowerment. So we're up for our second break of the show. And when we get back, I want to show you again some other areas of where you're looking to have things rescue you, and then maybe the flip side of rescue and what you may be doing in that area. Like how many of you are actually addicted to rescuing others? All right, my friends, we'll be back right after this short commercial break. You are listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. Or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for sticking around tonight. We are talking about, is rescue me your default? Now, before we went to the break, we were talking about points of views and judgments and how we actually give our power over to other people when we're looking outside of ourselves to have their choices, their decisions, or their points of view actually have us rescue us and have us choose what actually works for them. Now, here's another way that we actually, I see a lot of people looking to have themselves be rescued, and that's with money. How many of us are actually projecting at money that it needs to rescue us? Oh, God, there's going to be a lot of people push back on this one, right? But yes, the currency of this world is money, for sure. That is the currency. But the currency doesn't actually change things for us. The currency, what it is, money itself, does not actually create our lives and create our joy. But so many of us are in this desperate energy of looking for money to save us, looking for money to bring us freedom. If you are looking and you're pushing your energy, your expectation at money, the creation of money to rescue you, make you free, you've already bought the lie that you yourself are not free. So you've put yourself in that box that you cannot actually have a life of joy without money. And it's not true. You can have a life of joy without money. There are people in the world that have no care in the world for money. There are people in the world that know how to have people gift to them with complete ease, or they really don't have a point of view about living on the street, or they don't have a point of view about the clothes that they wear, and they are joyful. There are people in the world that are that way. And then there are other people in the world that have money with so much ease, and they really don't have the judgment that they have to have money to come to them. They absolutely have no energy push at money, looking to money to rescue them and save them, because they know that they have the capacity to create their lives. So just the word rescue itself, let's go back to that definition for a minute. To protect, to keep safe, free, and deliver. If you are buying at any level of those definitions that you actually are in that energy of rescue, you need someone or something to protect you, to keep you safe, or to allow you to be free, you've given your power away. And when you give your power away to something, are you actually in the driver's seat? Are you actually the one who is making the choices? You're not. So you're buying the lie that you're actually a victim. You're not a victim of your life. You may be a victim of your choices, because if you're giving your ability to make these choices truly away to somebody else's point of views and judgments, you are the victim of that. You are at the effect of those choices. Yeah, choice does create. So if anywhere you have this energy of rescue me in your reality, I would strongly encourage you to sit down and really spend some time doing some deep work around this. I know so many people do this with relationships. They're seeking somebody else to rescue them. All right? And they stay in abusive relationships, oftentimes emotionally abusive, physically abusive, or financially abusive relationships with people, because they've bought that they need to be rescued, that without that individual, without that relationship, they cannot succeed. And so again, giving their power away. That's not true. You, my friend, you are so potent and so powerful that you can change your life with the choices that you make, but most especially with the thoughts that you choose to think. You will begin, when you really harness that knowing, you will begin to change your reality. You'll begin to drive your life in the direction of your desires. Money is fabulous. Money is an amazing contribution to our lives. With money, we can change our lives and we can change other people's lives. We can create so much joy in the world when we have money. We can contribute to other people. We can create beautiful, beautiful worlds, beautiful homes, beautiful communities, beautiful, like people. I just see people that contribute their businesses and their resources in their business maybe to building other people's homes that they, have maybe they were caught in some kind of, their home was burned in a big fire, or, some kind of nature disaster, right? That is powerful to be able to contribute. Money is an absolute beautiful gift in the world. But I'll tell you what, my friends, when you're looking for money to rescue you, you're going to be chasing it your whole life. Money does not want to rescue you. Money desires to play with you. Money desires to contribute to you, but it doesn't want to rescue you. Have you ever wanted a lover to rescue you and they go running in the other direction? That energy of needy, that energy of, oh my God, I can't do it without them. It's not sexy. It's not inviting. It puts a great deal of pressure on you, a great deal of pressure rather on them, and has you be in this pathetic victim energy. If you're looking to attract to you things that bring you joy, the energy of rescue me is not attractive. The energy of rescue me is only attractive to one other type of individual. And guess who that is? That's the individual that desires to be the hero. Now, there's amazing people out there that contribute in the world in a way that brings tears to my eyes. I don't actually call them heroes. I call them angels. They're angels in that they contribute without the desire to receive anything in return. And I'm probably going to talk about this heroes, but this is what's coming through for me. People that desire to be the hero in your life, they have a twisted point of view about rescue. When you are in that victim rescue me energy, it actually fills up their ego to be able to rescue you, to be able to be your hero. And what happens when they are actually projecting this let me be your hero energy at you? They are actually saying, you know what? I believe you. I believe you can't do for you either. I believe you need me in order to survive. And that is bullshit. That is absolute fucking bullshit. You don't need anyone or anything to save you. You, my friend, are a strong, potent being. You came here to make a contribution in the world. You've got the ability. Perhaps you don't feel that way right now. And I get it. I've been there. I've been there many, many times. I've done a great deal of personal development in my life to really see who I am and what I am capable of. I didn't do it alone. I didn't do it without learning a lot of tools and doing a lot of deep diving into what was going on with me. And I'm willing to be vulnerable with the crap that comes up. It has not been easy, but let me tell you something. It has definitely been worth it. Rhonda actually did a fabulous show this morning on the Inspired Choices Network. So if you look for July the 4th, 2018, Coming Undone with Tenacious Minx, it was all about vulnerability. It was fantastic. And vulnerability, I'm not going to go into tonight a lot, but vulnerability is a space of absolute courage. As she said, it takes courage to be vulnerable. And you know what? You have courage within you because you chose to come here. You chose to be here on this planet. And if you're going to be here anyways, why not step up and actually rescue your own ass? Why not dig deep with your vulnerability and dig deep with what you've created and what you desire and change what's not working within you so that you can manifest and have this brilliant, joyful life? It is so possible, my friends, and it truthfully, for me, it's been the last, I would say, 15 years of deep, deep diving, and it's gone so, so quickly. Once you begin on the path, you start to get this thirst for really looking at what's not working so that you can create more and more joy and more pleasure. And when you do that, the contribution you be in the world to other people looking to you and, people looking at you and asking you, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you've been changing? Because you seem so happy. And that is such a beautiful gift when people acknowledge, you think, oh, I have been doing it. I have been changing it. And sometimes it still takes me off guard when someone says that to me. But the most beautiful thing is that when they're giving you that acknowledgement, they're actually saying that is something that's admirable. And that is something that they actually would like to have themselves. And when you show them, just by being your brilliant self, that they can choose to be there for themselves and do this work, that empowers the next person and so on. We can change the world by doing our inner work and by allowing ourselves to become self-empowered. Again, tools, amazing coaches can take you, walk that path with you and support you. They're not rescuing you. They're supporting you. I've had a number of clients say to me, Christine, I couldn't have done it without you. And I say, that's really kind of you to say that. But you know what? You're the one that made these choices. I was just there supporting you. Don't ever buy that somebody else has saved you, because then you give your power over to someone else. You're choosing it. It took you listening, choosing to listen to this show and be brave enough to listen to it all the way through that can contribute to you. Yes, I'm contributing, but you're contributing by your choices. Okay, my friends, we're up for our last commercial break, and when we get back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this hero and what it is that actually is propelling us from being in this rescue energy. You are listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message? The world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hey. Thank you so much for sticking around. Before I jump back in, I want to tell you about a fabulous creation that's in the works right now. My dear friend Rhonda Burns and I are known as the Bodacious Alchemy. That is a Facebook page that we have created. We create within there together. And I'm telling you, talk about two potent women that are willing to be vulnerable and brave and bring forth what they know is both sticking or poking at them and can be a contribution to others. That's what we do. And we are willing to be out there and invite you into the same. So what's coming up on July the 16th so go check out Bodacious Alchemy on Facebook. July the 16th, we are beginning a program, a 30-day program. It's called Funky Town or Pleasure Town. And it totally speaks to what I'm talking about tonight, about are you staying in that funky energy in your life, what's not working, what's really upsetting you, or are you actually taking action, daily potent action to bring you into pleasure? We are going to challenge you. We are going to give you homework. We are going to poke you, and we are going to inspire you into something even greater. Again, the choice is in your hand to come join us and to choose it each and every day. And in that, in that, when we are doing that, it begins to change things so much for ourselves when we're willing to step into it. And you will create that amazing new habit of looking to create pleasure. Right, as Rhonda says, always flows when you're open, totally. Okay, let's come back to the whole rescue me. So we talked about looking outside of ourselves and looking for other people's choices and judgments to change something, to rescue us. We also looked at money as rescuing us. Now this hero thing. As I said, the hero is kind of a flip to the rescue me. They are the rescuers. They are the people that get a great deal of tremendous joy from and building up their ego from rescuing you. They're the ones that often say, oh, I can help you. I know what you need to do. If you would just do this. You know what? Look at me and my life. You should do what I do, right? And they become that very superior, very judgmental energy and push energy at you that what you need to be doing differently. That hero is actually doing this to get accolades for themselves, and they're not necessarily doing it to actually contribute and empower you to change something in your lives. Yes, they would be joyful if you changed it, but they really do it from the space of selfishness for themselves. So oftentimes these heroes, they will begin to do things that others replicate. And oftentimes their ego is so big that they will offer services for next to nothing or free. I see this as a business coach. I see a ton of people doing this. And then when you replicate what they're doing, you go into the judgment that you need to be offering it for next to nothing or for free. And what does that create in your reality? You're back to chasing money. Because if you're in your own business and you're doing this, please go check out some of my business shows that I've done here on the network. If you're doing that, you are going to go down the path of lack. Listen, money is available to us. There's an endless supply of money in the world. There is no lack, but we buy into this when we buy that we need to be the hero in somebody else's life. And when you're doing that, you are projecting at somebody else that they cannot do it for them, and it's like putting another stone in their backpack. You weigh them down in that lie. So what would it take for you to come out of rescuing other people to inviting them into choosing greater? There's a very big difference. You can feel the energy in that, and it is such an amazing contribution. Here's the biggest thing about Rescue Me. The number one thing about Rescue Me is you do not trust you. You do not trust your knowing. You've maybe not been taught how to trust your knowing, but that's the bottom line. You're not trusting you. I've spent years and years not trusting myself. I know so many of us have been looking for someone outside of us to save us so that we would make the right decision. How about you start to dig deeper into learning to trust you? Coming up next week, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about trust and what that looks like and how you can actually learn to totally lean into trusting you, totally lean into breaking the lies that you don't trust you and breaking the lies that you don't know what you're talking about. Thank you, my friends, for joining us tonight. So grateful you were here. And this topic, if this really speaks to you and you know someone else that it might contribute to, please forward it to them. And I would love to hear from you. Send me an email, drop me an email at inspiredchoices.ca, and let's connect. Let's really begin to change all of these things so we can all have more joy. Remember, my friends, you can always make another choice. Until next time.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.